Yeah, buddy. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Market is in the grinder at the moment. It's running the gamut. Can we get under the day's lows and attack yesterday's lows at 57.42? 57.42 was my favorite target because Bookmap had all that liquid sitting at 57.40. But now they just removed it. I hear a lot of Discord sounds, but no. Yeah, is this a live one? Firm it is, Techno Pig. That reminds me of Spider Pig from Family Guy. Spider Pig, Spider Pig. What's up, Matthew? Elevator down's just waiting to go. They are toying with fire here. The VIX is coming back up. If they take out 57.74, I'm looking for 57.40. Shody. But first we got to get under this right here. 57.90 area was the little plus or minus. They're getting through that here, and they are toying with destruction again. I am still bearish on the macro. If you're just joining us, from Bookmap, I am still bearish on the macro. I am not looking to buy the bounce. I am not looking to go long, unlike most of our counterparts on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, or Blue Sky. And the next question you may ask yourself after hearing that is, hey, what would you look for to look for a swing long? And for me, it is called a buying climax. It's a very, very large red move down, and then an aggressive, if not more aggressive, bottom wick to move back up. That's my sign that we have hit value. That's that 40% off sale at Best Buy we were talking about. You wait 5 months for it to buy a TV, but you're waiting for it to come down in price, and finally they lower it by 40% off, and boom, everybody floods into the store to buy it. And that's how you know they have found the right price to sell. And that's when you want to buy. Spider Pig is from Simpsons. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Why don't I think it's Family Guy? By the way, y'all see Sam Solik in the bodybuilding competition? He lost all that weight and was in the bodybuilding competition. I don't know if anyone follows that stuff. But he looks like, from the face, he looks like the episode when Peter Griffin lost all the weight. Like he was super skinny. I forget why he did it. his face looks like Peter Griffin, skinny Peter Griffin. But yeah, he did fantastic. Great conditioning. So although we're playing a nice little range today, it is not as robust or fun as weeks past. I found it on my TRT. Yeah, that's me. Skinny Peter Griffin. Yeah. Yeah, he did improve a bunch. Yeah, he's fantastic. I like Sam Sulek. He's a good dude. Hope he stays healthy. Spider pig. Spider pig. How's Hero? Right now, it is showing put buying and call selling. They just drastically sold all their calls down to 115 million. So it went drastically bearish on the Hero. We have 5700 SPX as target, but we are still range bound on the S&P. That's me if you own an energy drink line. Yeah. His temperament and personality seems to be great, 100%. I'm surprised we're still sitting here. If we can't make a new low, I think we take out the session high. That would be my late day thesis. If the bears can't get it done today with this kind of IV, in my opinion, what will happen is a tailwind effect. It won't necessarily be a buying event, although that's the way to look. It'll be a tailwind, which I guess semantics at that point. It's when the market simply just doesn't have any more juice to go lower for today's session. The positional downside positions, the hedging, the protections come off, and we have that lift the ass tailwind event up into 58.40. So I think you're spot on. If we don't start engaging the mid to lower 5700s here in the morning, I think the afternoon will show us attacking some overnight highs.
Legs pumped. Holy shit. Veiny as well. I mean, pumped, veiny, fatigued. What other descriptors are there of a good lift? But I'll make this quick because I gotta get some rest ASAP. The last thing I want to do is wreck my sleep schedule. But you tell me, man. I mean, that's a fucking pump for sure. I've kind of lost a little bit of the striations kind of on this side. Unpumped. There's a ton of fancy pants lines in here. But this is way more swollen than I need to be happy with. It just makes me extra excited to see how big they're going to be when I'm floating around 280. Not that there's a number. There's not a specific number I'm aiming for. But if next bulk I can step on the scale in the morning, empty stomach, and have it say 280, then I'll start to feel pretty freakish.
That's pretty funny. I like it. That was a great documentary. The Unbelievable Ronnie Coleman. It was great. Top 5 documentary list right there. 57.90. We are still back and forth. If you look on the 15-minute, which is where I'm setting, we've got since 9 o'clock this morning. No, go back. 8 o'clock this morning. Red, green, red, green, red, green, red, and then now, of course, green. So we're definitely in the grinder. This is not the time to hold anything indefinitely. If you want to scalp the highs and lows, go for it. They are removing the liquidity. We had a very robust book this morning. We filled 1,000 sell-side iceberg, but they have now since removed 57.40, and we're kind of hanging out. The sellers are on the clock here. The sellers are on the clock. If they don't absorb lower, we're going to re-engage to yesterday's highs. That's about it. Wednesday sessions, have been notoriously boring the past couple of weeks. This time frame, and then the European markets close at 11:30, and then we start shaking and baking. So we're gonna have to just kind of be patient and wait for the next hour. I'm guessing a strangle is not a good idea with IV this high. I would. It's a double-edged sword. On one hand, IV this high usually means we're going to have a breakout move. But if they don't have a breakout move, then you're going to get crushed. The problem is the waiting game. If you wait until the afternoon, you're going to get crushed regardless, and then you're going to have to hope for a 50 to 60 point move to break even. Now, I am still of the opinion the power hour 0 DTE play is the way to go. I said yesterday morning, if you want to put on a lotto to turn a couple $100 into a couple of thousand, this is the environment to do it in power hour. You could spend a little bit of money and make a crap ton, and I think that's still the case today. Put you on all right, so wait for 2 or 315. Put on a very cheap outside the money strangle or straddle. Yeah, do a strangle. I bet you it'll make money. At least one side at the point. I played a put in the power, but it was way too conservative. That's all right. We still made money. If you want to play 0 DT options, there are times to get that explosive gamma effect to turn a very small amount of money into a very large amount of money. This is the environment to do it. Bouncing back up, climbing back up. The 15-minute is disgusting. Disgusting. $30-minute kind of sucks too. Yeah, the 30-minute is nothing but wicks. Just every candle since 7 o'clock this morning was wicked. Overall job data will be low as Fed firing. Tomorrow we'll get to see dumper Friday theory. Well, that's a good point. Non-farm payroll on Friday is arguably one of the bigger data points that we face nowadays. And with all the firing that's going on and all the jobs out there that are getting slashed, how does that look? Because the prior administration was using federal jobs added, which was being added at an alarming historical rate, was being used to inflate numbers. Not to mention second jobs. Let's go to, let's see. Economic in the calendar. Friday. Either way, non-farm payroll tomorrow will do a great job in factoring in the future Fed funds rate as well as the TLT and yields. The forecast for Friday is 156,000 jobs, which is the lowest forecasted jobs since November. And we'll see how it posts. So, yeah, buddy. Every administration do that, yeah. I mean, corruption's rampant everywhere, so, Corruption. Top wick again. Another top wick on ES. Is that my computer or yours making the noise? I don't hear a noise. For SPX options, you can hold them into closed, cash settled. It's not like the SPY where your contracts get exercised if you're in the money. Yeah. That's the way to do it, man. You can get an SPX option for, $60 to $70, $80, far outside the money. And if it pays, you can make a lot of money. Send another top step payout request. There you go. Be careful, they're going to call you up to live. And keep doing that crap. Sounds like you're playing Pong. Yeah. I'm not playing any games. Oh, I see. Yeah, I had my desktop audio turned on, which means you can hear my computer sounds, and you were hearing the sounds of the Discord opening and closing, like people leaving and entering the Discord stream. That's what it was. Yeah, I turned it off. $30-minute, another top wick. Still range bound. Nothing's changed. Trump and Trudeau are scheduled to speak this morning, so be careful. We have more Trump news coming out this morning with tariffs. This is boring. The S&P rejected the 4-hour POC, which is 5810, and it's holding the lower POC of 58 or 5782. So right now, on the S&P ES, put a line at 5710 and I'm sorry, 5810, and put another line at 5780. So 5810, 5780. Those are your POCs, or main POCs here. That's why we're rejecting and bouncing off of them. We've got to be able to take out the 5780 to start getting into lower demand. That's where all that participation is. Volatility is going to remain with tariff and he's changing daily. I'm not still swinging anything except silver. Nice. I don't know much about options. What does options mean? Could you speak on the power hour trade you spoke on? Yep. Options are derivatives. So you got a couple of different ways to trade the stock market. You've got futures, you've got stocks, and you've got options. Now there's a couple other different options too, but those are the choices, I should say, but those are your main choices, the three big popular ones. So you can go to like SPY and you could buy a share of SPY. You could buy SPY, you could short SPY. It goes up, you make money. It goes down, you make money on a short. Options are a time derivative product that you can buy or even short on the underlying. So on SPY, you can go in. If you think SPY is going to go up, you buy a call on SPY. If you think it's going to go down, you buy a put on SPY. And what it is a forward pricing in. You're basically buying the option to purchase the product at whatever strike that you want. So if I right now go to the SPY option chain and I buy a 0 DTE call at 580 strike, expiring today, I have the option to buy SPY at 580 expiring today by the end of the day. And you speculate on the prices on those options are the speculation price, the probability, people betting on the probability of that. So if it's a high price, that means there's a decent probability as we get closer to in the money, as the price climbs to the strike and goes beyond. So basically, you buy calls if you want it to go up, you buy puts if you want it to go down. The problem with options, the good side of options, I should say, the good side of options is you can make a very, very large amount of money using a very small amount of money. You could double your investment, you could triple it, you could make 25%, whatever. The downside is the theta value, the time value. So when the option has a time value that says not only do you have to be right, you have to be right within a given time frame. And then theta value or time eats away at the value of the contract as you get closer and closer to the time. So you have to fight an upstream hill. You have to fight not only the price action, but the time it takes for that price action to actually go. So it's a double-edged sword. It can be very fun. It can be very terrible. I would recommend do not touch them until you're well versed in them. Stick with stocks, stick with futures until you're well aware of the risk of trading options, and certainly stay away from zeros. Do you still have SR levels? I do. I post SR levels every morning for the server, for the Discord server. I post them every morning in the stream analysis channel, and they did very well. They've been doing very well. Spreads are also, yeah, you could do spreads. I don't want to go there though. That's an upper level theory with someone who's learning options. I've been doing much better on futures. Options I suck at when the price isn't good. Yeah. Can anyone tell me what the exact name or author is of the OM support resistance level indicator? Yeah, he changed his name. It is now David-Hamilton is the author. Here, I'll show you. There you go. This is your captain speaking. We're in a holding pattern. Are there levels for SR levels? Yep. So I post SR levels for SPY every morning, and then I put a conversion value on there that if you want to convert them to the S&P or SPX, you can do so. For the Tier 2 members, I offer levels for ES and NASDAQ every Sunday. Heading back lower. SPY. Bottom of the range. Perhaps markets are waiting until news from Canada. Possibly, because I know there was some verbiage about backing off the tariffs, but now they're having a call, which I'm sure the call will come out as they're both not going to do it, blah, blah, blah. But we will see. Every Sunday tune out. Yeah. Advice for options after blowing many monies is to always protect downside. Spreads work, but slowly get into it. Yep. Thanks a lot. Is it possible to go into debt from options? Is the option worth? um, no. From longing options, it's not possible to go into debt. From shorting options to go into debt. If you start shorting options, you can get margin called. Now, if you're with any kind of high quality broker, most of the time, if not all the time, they will close the position before they reach a margin requirement, before you're on the hook for paying money in. Most of the time. Now, there are situations, I'm sure you've seen it around Reddit, where people have over leveraged themselves and been on the hook for several hundred thousands of dollars because they don't really know what they're doing. And that is possible. For example, if you do what's called shorting options, so if, let's say, I do not think the market is going to go below, let's say, 575 on SPY, so I sell a 575 put to open it, which means it's a bullish position, the market's going to go up. And let's say there's a nuclear attack and the market drops to 420 in one day, which I know limits can't do that, but let's just say theoretically it can. I would be on the hook for several millions of dollars. It's theoretically unlimited losses. So all that to say is do not short any kind of options at all unless you know what you're doing, and certainly don't do it naked options. Don't do any kind of uncovered options, period. But just from a buy and a call and buy and a put, no, you can't go into debt. No. How many years of watching tape before you should even consider shorting options? In my opinion, if you want to short options, you need to have you need to have the capital to do it. And two, you have to have some investing maturity. You have to be able to understand what's happening. You have to understand the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic. You have to understand how the process of theta actually takes hold. And you have to have good strength on your risk mitigation. You cannot short an option or write a call credit spread or a put credit spread and just hands off and hope, because you'll get demolished. I remember one time, in fact, back in March, I lost $100,000 from writing spreads in nearly a single day. So I mean, it happens. It happens. Risk mitigation is a key word. Yep. If you can make money in this market, then you're good most in any market. Yep. It's like 3 years of reading spot gamma. Definitely. Definitely. There's a whole bunch of different ways to make money in the stock market, but there's one common thing amongst all of them: risk mitigation. Risk mitigation. Anna's book is a lifesaver in Tier 2 guidance. Yeah, Anna Colling's book is fantastic. Highly recommend. Complete guide to volume price analysis if you're going to be trading. Feels like we're gearing up for a big move, but also midday. I bet you it'll happen post market, or power hour, or the last 2 hours of the market. How does Bookmap help with options? Well, it doesn't help with options per se, but it helps with overall trading. Bookmap is a visual representation of the order flow. It tells me where the buy orders are. It tells me where the sell orders are. Liquidity. And that kind of leads me to a theoretical conversation about trading, which is what I derive from Anna Colling's book, is how does the market operate? What is the market? Could you define the word is? So the market seeks out liquidity. Like, you remember Pac-Man, I don't know how old you are, or young you are, Pac-Man from the game from the 80s. Imagine market is the Pac-Man, and all the little dots that he eats is liquidity. And all the little things that run around, the little, monsters that run around, those are retail traders. They have to eat out liquidity in order to get the market moving. up or down. And that's what Bookmap is. It puts on this big liquidity participation. The market goes to, eats that liquidity, goes the other way. It drops back down, eats into demand, bounces, goes back the other way. It's all about participation. Are futures better tax-wise than options? Depends on the depends on the options. It depends on how long you hold the options. If you don't mind asking, how did that happen with the spreads? Yeah, so back in those days, I was placing every Monday morning. I would place a Friday afternoon or a Friday expiring credit spread or a call credit spread or a put debit spread. I would collect anywhere between $2,000 to $3,000 per position. You know, anywhere between 4 to 6 total with the iron condor, the weekly iron condor on. And I placed a iron condor. The market was doing okay, and I was actually profitable in the position, and I closed it. But then I noticed on Wednesday that I could get, for a Friday expiration contract, it was like 120 points outside of the money, upwards, that I could still get like $3 or $4 for this call credit spread, which is an insane amount of money. Usually by Wednesday, the Friday expiring contract spreads, you can't get but like maybe $1, $1.50 for them, maybe. And I was still getting like $3 or $4 for them, which that should have been my signal that, hey, these things are priced to move. So I sold, on Wednesday morning, I sold a Friday 110 point outside the money call credit spread. And I thought it was going to be easy money. I was like, this is going to be the easiest $4 grand I ever make in my life. Kick back, relax, sip on my iced tea. Boy, was I wrong. Oh, crap. I have to take this phone call. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Yeah, so on Wednesday I opened that position, and then for the next 2 days, this was in March. On the next 2 days, S&P went on like a 240 point blast off. It was like 2 trend days in a row that the market just never pulled back, just up and up and up and up and up and away. A massive green move, and that was fun. That was fun. That was a fun time. I thought I could hedge myself out of it until the market retreated, and it never retreated. So that was a lesson learned. And I did hedge the crap out of it, but man, that sucked. ES and Nasdaq are compressing for a big move. I believe it. I think it'll happen. Here's now a fourth test of the lower S1, S2 range. Fourth test of 5774. ES has put on some orders up at 5812, not a lot. I need to look lower. I haven't looked lower today. Much lower. 5500 is not only still there, it's increasing. This block down here has been on for weeks now, months. We've been monitoring this 5000 or 5500, 5550, and they are adding to it. How much you want to bet it fills? They're adding some liquidity here at 5700, which is also SPX 5700. I mean, not the same price, but SPX also has their version of 5700. How's Hero? Hero indicator right now is heavy puts. Almost $1 billion in puts and 150 million in calls. So it's very put heavy. Very put heavy. They sold all the calls from this morning. You're still here. It shows your process is strong. Yep. Yeah, I'm still here. Appreciate it. That was a bad day, but I learned a lot from it. It's funny because some of my losing call credit spreads have turned into some pretty good wins. Because when a call credit spread is losing, which means the market is very bullish, you just close the short leg and leave on the long leg, and if you do things right and manage the position right, you can make a lot of money. And a few times that's happened where I've actually made a lot more money from the winning leg than I lost on the losing leg. You just have to know when to cut it. So they are managing some liquidity here. CVD is dropping 5750 and 5700. Very boring, back and forth. This is a quick scalper's day if you're so inclined. I've got my camera interface up from the farm. It's awesome having all these cameras up and running now. Technology is great. See any weirdos running around? No. No. But with the zoom on this fancy camera, I could zoom across the street and see my neighbors, and they're the rough type, and their house looks like I mean, it's terrible. It's obviously terrible. Red candles coming on down, testing 5770. It's also yesterday afternoon's low. Not yesterday's low, but yesterday afternoon's. And then they're coming down to 5740 if that gives out. But it's hard to play the breakout moves when everything is so tight until it actually comes, and then you might be chasing a little bit. They are still piling into puts at a very high rate. It's slowly starting to turn towards a very aggressive negative delta environment here. When do we get to see some pics of the build? I'll show you some pics one day. Right now, it's slowly transferring from looking like a construction site into a house. So I'm pretty excited. I should do an OM house building series on YouTube. I thought about doing that, but man, I've been so jammed for time. Expertise on getting out of the move and booking profits before price action actually touches a level. Well, you've got to be able to manage the price action. You've got to be able to look into this and see what's the market currently doing. Are we in aggressive downtrend? Are we in aggressive uptrend? Or are we consolidating? You can't be naive enough to think that you've entered a play that's just so happened to break out right when you enter it. Now, that's going to happen. Sure, you're going to get fortunate enough to do that from time to time. But in this environment, although it's starting to look like we are going to break down, we can't really say when it's going to happen yet. So for me, I have to play what I know, and I have to play what the market probability is, which means most likely I have not entered to the point where this is going to smoke downwards. Hopefully I have, but... So you have three choices. One, close out the entire position for profit, or wherever it is. Two, even though it hasn't yet hit your price target yet. Two, scale out. Or three, set a trailing stop on it and just take your hands off and see what happens, which is usually my preferred method. Do you have a strategy for scaling out? I do, not for scalping though. I usually don't scale out for scalps. It's either in or out. For long-term trades, yeah, I'll scale out. Are you teaching your kids as well? They can be very famous if they... I do, but I'm not really teaching them scalping right now because it requires a very high dedication to time, and obviously the young ones are a little bit young. The older one has just got a lot going on, so I am teaching him investing, absolutely. He does know basic VPA. He has dabbled in some trading here and there, but not enough to really get into it a lot. But he's just very busy. You know, he's got sports and he's got his own life, and he'll learn all that stuff eventually. 57.80. Rolling doobies with the tile guys, yeah. Think about having a YouTube channel for kids that they teaching this to college boys and making them a lot of money by the time they're 40. There you go. That's a good idea. I reserve the rights. All content in the OM channel is at my disposal, and I reserve the right to use your content ideas without copyright. That's my disclaimer. Got stopped? Can you hear banjos playing? Yeah. Still rolling over here. The delta is becoming increasingly negative. 1 billion in puts. You know the funny thing that happened a while ago, Top Step, someone paid a trader out an extra $4,500 and they asked for it back. Huh. I'm going to go lotto at 0 DT calls. All right, we are testing the low of the day here, 57.70. Slower yet large range. Dropping back over. NASDAQ is testing the 300 block. Things are continuing to look more bearish. Liquidity sweep below morning close would be perfect. Yeah. Like, what's their legal obligation to that? If a prop firm overpays them, do they have to give it back, or like, come get it? Gotta be in the disclaimers. They have to get it back. Yeah. 57.70. Here we go. Starting to fill lower. That's a new low of the day for the S&P and dropping. And they're testing yesterday's bounce, the big old bounce at 350 right here. New updates on policies for Top Step. Jeez Louise. There we go. Big move. Big move. So now, to your point, who's asking that question? Is that now, like I said, if you've hit your price, hopefully you've hit your price target by now, but roll the stops down. This is your opportunity to let this thing eat. Just roll your stops, and as long as the sellers defend like 20,300 on NASDAQ and 57.70 on ES, this will continue down until yesterday's lows. Still dropping. Beautiful. We have this little iceberg that's trailing the price. Usually I take that as bearish sentiment. 57.60 and dropping. Still going. What do you check for overall IV? My options chain, IBKR. Right now it's 48%. It's very, very high. More and more bearish. Please no bottom wick. As long as they hold 57.70, that'll be your support resistance test failure, and that's a good indication that we're going to test yesterday's low, which is now only 15 points away. So we're dropping. They're targeting the yesterday's lows. Trailing stops it is. Trailing stops are your best friend. Does range shrinking after 10:30 imply short strength, the negative delta? Not necessarily short strength. It just shows contraction that leads to expansion. So when you're dealing with price action or liquidity, price action always goes from range contraction to range expansion and then back to range contraction, back and forth. So I like when the price action contracts, especially after a very volatile period, because it goes to expansion, even on the daily, the 5-minute, whichever chart. There was an error with this payout, and it was submitted to you twice on 2.5 for $5,000. We kindly ask you to return the additional amount once you have received it. How about this? I'll YOLO in SPX, and if it doubles, I'll send it back. Better hope this. Did it work? What did he buy? I love it. Better hope this hits. They moved him to live. I love it. I love it. After another week of gains. How far out of the money do you recommend for the 0 DTE SPY on small account? At the money. At the money. When you're playing 0 DTE, you're playing the riskiest product there is in existence. When you're playing outside of the money, 0 DTE, you're playing even more aggressively. So I recommend at the money if you are going to play zeros. If you are having consistency issues, bare minimum, get away from short-dated options. Go to weeklies. At the most, beyond that, switch to stocks. I started with stocks. I started scalping stocks. I found my success with stocks. So that's what I have to recommend to you. Go with stocks. Vaya con Dios. They would usually just take whatever amount is double paid out of your current balance on your XFAs. That's probably why they moved him to live. They'll do it live. De nada. Oh, high volume bottom wick, 57.70. That's still the support resistance test for the S&P. And we have 13 minutes until the euro close. And some liquidity just popped up. That is 50 points down. Is this going to be a big move? Had the same thought. Roll futures profits to options is great. They all go hand in hand. Yep. 50 points down. They just had liquidity show up. 57.12. Did they get rid of any puts on that drop? Negative. In fact, we are increasing put activity here, and they haven't stopped increasing since 0 dark 50 yesterday afternoon, yesterday night, yesterday morning, this morning, last night, whatever. Red candles, baby. 57.12 coming down. 57.12. It's dropping. 57.12 would get us. Man. Way down there. That would touch the 5700 SPX support. That would be beautiful. Man, look at that beautiful liquidity. It's like Christmas morning. On the last expansion to new session low, we got an extreme negative tick reading, but no volume. I think they're going to shift it here. They're still expanding into more puts. This looks increasingly bearish going into the afternoon session. I bet you we'll have fireworks today. How much you want to bet? I bet we'll have fireworks. Now I feel like now's the time to put on a strangle. Fireworks inbound. Still red. Coming down. 5763 down to 5708. Nothing but red. Increasing more puts. IV is still jacked to the gills. They are filling put orders to bring it back up and make money. That's not the way I interpret it. Not yet. I need to see closure of puts. Closure of puts. We now have 48% still of IV and not dropping. We have 9 minutes till European close, and they are just grinding this thing lower. And they're adding mass liquidity to 5710, 5708, dropping. Down. Right here, 5760. CVD has already dropped by half, and they're still dropping. More and more bearish now that they have sected lower prices. The only thing left is 20 points down. Down. Going, baby. Going. Let's go. Patience, baby. In shorts from 67. Nice potential. Well done, buddy. Well done. We are at value low on the 15-minute. Can we get lower? Dum, 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 dum. One more day to pay out next. Man, you're killing it. Y'all are killing it, man. Y'all take more payouts than I do. Killing it. Y'all better be putting aside your tariff money. Let's go, Twizzy. Love it. Come on, baby. $57.65. I don't play around with my props. I take my payouts. Love it. Fantastic. At least you can offset the price of goods growing and building your own stuff and buying local. Taxes are forced. Yep. Consumption. come on, baby. All right, we only got about 5 minutes left in the stream. We've been a nice, beautiful, slow grind down. If you have questions, let me know. I bet we have fireworks today. This afternoon. Did I'm just blip? No. I don't know what that is. I don't know. Apparently people hear a lot of noises on the stream today, so who knows. Still coming down. I can smell the fireworks already. Yep, July 4th is my favorite holiday, baby. You get to celebrate freedom with exploding stuff. Will that come on YouTube again? Not today, no. Try Dan. Pelosi's listening. Pelosi is listening. We have got 4 minutes till European close. I got stopped out with a 15% loss in the peak of the market for my puts and didn't play after that. My timing is wrong most of the time, and I exist in 5 minutes. Stop playing puts and play stock, student. Timing, when you are playing... Ooh. Oh, it's Hartsville. I don't want that. When you are playing options, timing is of the essence. It doesn't matter. You could be completely right about your thesis, but if you're not timely, you are wrong. Take a look at my meta put. I was the only one out there saying that meta is distributing. And everyone's like, no, you're an idiot. And I entered, 3 days too early? Timing is of the essence. So switch to stocks until you gain some confidence. You'll do yourself a favor. You won't make as much money, but it's not the point. When you are fresh, young new meat, you need to learn to get reps in. Red candles here. You got to get reps in. Yeah, I'm making a new trip to PA next month buying all the fireworks. Do it. I'm wondering if we might have a positive news risk, considering his post-Trump speech might reverse. Maybe. I still think that before we go up, we're going to have a flushy event. Get everyone nice and bearish, and then bottom like the crap out of it. That's what I think. Red candles. We have European close in 2 minutes. Let's see what they do. If they take this out, I think we'll attack yesterday's lows. They're trying to. They're trying to. Here we go. This will be a third attempt to get through this little pivot. Can they do it? After here, it'll be yesterday's lows. Oh, man. I think they did that already. Yeah, but they need the buying climax. Buying climaxes don't immediately get demolished. So I think we have to have one big capitulation red day that doesn't bounce until it bounces, if that makes sense. Absolutely flush it. Everyone will be tweeting down, 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 down. And then hammer candle, holy crap, the V reversal. And then that's it. Off to the races. European close in a minute. All right, well, that is going to conclude the stream. It's the end of it, end of the hour. Nice little move lower here into 57.60s. And, I mean, they're putting on a small bottom wick right now. But, yeah. Put heavy put buying here. We'll see what they're going to do the rest of the day. I think there'll be fireworks. They're already hammering this green candle, this red candle back up. So 10 points down, 10 points back up. As long as they stay under 57.70, the low of the day, or yesterday's lows, is within reach. If they reclaim 57.70, I mean, that hammer green right there could do it. Then you could look back up to high of the day. So overall, IV is still jacked. Put participation is very, very heavy. And things are back and forth. If you have any questions about anything, please let me know. Hit me up in the channels, DMs. Ask questions to other traders. Don't get chopped up. And wait for some big Momo. If you want to wait, I would recommend waiting to the last hour to hour and a half of the day. We'll have explosive fireworks, explosive movement here as positions either come on or roll. So, hope you have a good rest of the day. I'll see you next Wednesday for the Bookmap stream at 10:30. Until then, I'm out. See you.